What?
And we're back.
I can't, everybody's talking over you.
Mr. 100's not bad.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I didn't give you very much about the Beach Roby, just pilot adjustable. I know I could call it infinitely variable because between this angle and that angle, it can find any angle you want to infinity. But pilot adjustable. All right, that brings me to the next one. The Hamilton Standard 2-position propeller. How many positions do you suppose it has?
2.
Oh man, you guys are like on top of this stuff. All right. What has it got on there that you notice right now?
Counterweights.
Counterweights. Centrifugal twisting force. You're going to move up here or down here?
Up.
Up. Up, up. Guess we're going to find out. All right. Hamilton Standard. Two-position prop. All right, so this is often called a controllable. Sometimes called counterweighted or two-position. I like to call it the two-position because it tells you exactly what it is. All right, so pilot has control. Pilot has, or I can say option, of two positions. What do you suppose those two positions are?
High blade angle and low blade angle.
You got it. High and low blade angle. And why would the pilot choose this low blade angle?
Take off.
Cruise.
Takeoff. Low blade angle. Low blade angle before takeoff and high blade angle for
Cruise.
cruise. All right, so there's just a lever in the cockpit. Pilot can choose that one or that one. You can't really go in the middle and hope for the kind of middle. Doesn't do that. Oh, I know what we could do. All right, so it can get confusing looking at these counterweights going, okay, does the counterweight go up or middle, up or middle? Easy way to remember this is without the counterweight, centrifugal twisting force will make the blade go to low blade angle. With the counterweight, it's always going to make it go to high blade angle. So if this is all the way up here, is that the high or low angle? High angle. And it would have to come down here to the middle to be
Low.
Everybody follow that?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't get that, you're going to be lost forever. All right, so right now it's in the high blade angle because the counterweight is, they're kind of split out this way. And they'll start coming in this way for low blade angle. All right. So centrifugal twisting force makes the prop go into a low blade angle. You sure about that?
With counterweights?
Right here, this picture.
Yes, let's ask.
This picture, right here, the one I'm looking at. Centrifugal twisting force makes it go into high blade angle towards, if it helps you, towards feather. Okay, because feather is the most high blade angle you get. This is low. When it comes this way, that's feather. That's the highest blade angle we got. Okay?
Yep.
You can go all the way to flat, low, and go backwards a little bit. Okay, that's go backwards. Let's go. All right, so we got this. So this one has centrifugal, it has counterweights. Therefore, CTF makes it go into a high blade angle. What makes it go to low blade angle?
Oil pressure.
Aerodynamic force is not enough to do anything.
Oil pressure.
So it's oil pressure. So from here on out, every oil pressure is always going to be, you're always going to have a fixed force and a variable force. Fixed force, an unchanging force, counterweights, because they weigh the same all the time. I know, you could argue that it varies with the speed of the prop, sure, okay. And your variable force is oil pressure. Add it or remove it. Some or none. So two forces. Let's see. Two forces. centrifugal twisting force sends the blades to high blade angle. And oil pressure sends blades to low blade angle. How does it do that? Well, pretty damn simple on this one. First thing you have to do is, some of these drawings are horrific, and I had to make a note on here and say, remember that the drawing is backwards. They drew it backwards and made it very complicated. So looking at this right here, I think I have a colored picture. Let me see. I don't, so good for me. So looking at this, hang on. Oh, okay, I really thought I had a colored picture. And I really thought I had notes to myself blasted right on there saying, this is backwards. This is going toward high blade angle. So, I have to get my mind around this. So right now it is in low going towards high. So we have, let me go here, a valve in the cockpit. So you got two choices. Engine oil pressure. From the engine this way to the prop. Or from prop to drain. So you're going to add oil pressure or get rid of oil pressure. You see how that selector rotates in there? You got two choices. Everybody follow that? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. That's why there's no middle. So looking at the hub, eventually I'm going to find this. I know that. Gotta have that slide in here. It's got to be. Hang on. Let's see. I really pull. Ah. Aha. It's not going to go to that one. I knew it wouldn't.
Oh, we passed it.
Okay, I know why I didn't use that one now. I remember. It'll be fine. We'll get to it.
So the only oil it drains is from the propeller.
From the propeller. All right, so let's start with this one. We are in high pitch because the counterweight sent us to high pitch. And the pilot says, I don't want to be in high pitch, I want to be in low pitch. Boom. Push in the clutch. Pull it over. I had to be careful because I had these guys holding the switch up. I was joking with them about a switch. I'm like, don't let that. They were holding it for like, how long are you holding that switch?
The whole time.
It doesn't do anything. I was joking, guys. Okay, so there's no clutch.
Screwed up.
I know, you did a good job, too.
Yeah, the funny part is that we were like, did he flip the switch up before he turned it on?
We were like, wait, he showed us and he didn't flip the switch.
Okay, pilot flips this switch. Pilot flips the switch, the switch, the switch. There it is. We'll go this way. Should we go this way? Engine oil pressure, 2 prop. Okay? I'm going to go into low blade angle. So I got to go to low blade angle. Let's see, we got to find low blade angle. We don't want that one, we want this one. Low blade angle. Going to go to low blade angle. Right now we are currently in high. So oil is good. See, that's why I hate this. Oil is going to come through here, go through the pilot, do a transfer collar inside of the engine. It goes down through the prop shaft, makes its way through here, a bunch of seals, comes to the middle of this, and it starts to fill up this area right here with oil. And it's going to push this dome forward. And as it pushes this dome forward, it will take this and slide that up into the slot right there, causing it to go to low blade angle. All the way, boom, until it stops. It's the only choice. And then the pilot says, well, wait a minute. I changed my mind. I don't want that. I want to go the other way. So the pilot is, now it is in low blade angle, and the pilot wants to go to high blade angle. So we'll realign the valve. Oil pressure is now not being forced into here. So it's just an open hole that drains back into the engine, not overboard, that would be stupid. It's back in, it just drains back into the oil sump, releasing the pressure in here. So there's nothing holding this here anymore. And so centrifugal twisting force starts to move this way and that way, causing this hub to roll back, causing the slot right here to allow the blade to go to higher blade angle. Follow? Okay. Let's see. Options, low pitch, did that, high pitch, RPM, shut down. This has a weird thing about it.
Keeps it clean.
So all the other props in the world, no, I shouldn't say that. All piston engine props, we shut them down in low pitch because it's so much easier on the starter to start it in low pitch. So I remember one of the first constant speed props I started up, and nobody taught me how to do it well. And so I just really was hard to get this thing started. I finally got it started. Oh, it just sounded terrible. I shut down. I got out and asked the guy, this doesn't sound good. He goes, well, why don't you try putting it in a low blade angle and try it again, see if it works. So I'm like, oh, well, maybe you could have told me how to do it. But I didn't forget. So, yeah, it's harder on the starter when they're got. Now, if you look at a turbine engine, turboprops, they always shut down in feather. Why do they do that? Do I have to get Phil? Bring him out here? Because it doesn't what?
So it doesn't spin the turbine.
Yeah, why do you care if it spins a turbine? Don't they spin anyway?
Yeah, near windmill.
It would spin too much and there's no oil pressure. Burn bearings up. So they stop them that way. Right? Turbines. Right, Megan Ann? You guys have turbines at work?
Yeah.
Stop them in feather?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Of course. All right. But pistons start different. That would be very hard on a piston engine. I've started some engines with in feather. It's not easy on the props at all. But if you want to test the feathering mechanism, you got to feather the prop. So you feather the prop, and then you got to restart it. And they don't like to start very well in feather. And they make a lot of noise. They don't sound good until it comes out of feather. It's an interesting thing. I used to do it with our 310 when it actually ran with a stink, but now it doesn't. But if you're so interested, we can move out one of the Skymasters, and I could feather that and show you what that's like. It's an interesting thing. So, all right, so shut down to high blade angle. Why is this one so important to shut down high blade angle? Because this, in fact, is was this high or low blade angle here?
No.
This is low. This is where we would normally shut one down in. But all of this piston right here is exposed to the elements. And that can cause it to rust. As opposed to this, where it's now all hidden back up inside here. See, this little piece moves. So that protects it. So they like these to be shut down in high blade angle. So I guess I tell you that so that when you get out of class and you're like, I know everything about props, and somebody has one of these props and they shut it down in high blade angle, don't call them stupid. Hey, dummy, put it in high blade angle. Like, I know why it puts it in high blade angle. As for example, how's this one shut down? High blade angle. Why is it in high blade angle?
Protect the piston.
Take the piston right back up in here. So this little dome, that's the thing that moves forward and back. Okay. These are rather complicated to assemble and get on the airplane. I have a cool little video I like watching with the glass. Because this has to move. There's a lot of seals in there. And when you mess up the seals, it'll blow the oil right outside the hub, down the prop, and spray the entire airplane full of oil. So, yeah. All right, shut down high blade angle. All right, now what do we got? We did that, we did that, we did that, we did that. So what's inside? Parts. You got the spider inside there. This is for a 3-blade. So you got the spider. You can see right there. You got the splines inside the spider. The blades go up over the spider. Then the hub goes on top of the spider. And it looks like that. Oh yeah. How do you balance these? Let's see, let's get back to this. With lead wool in a Welsh plug. So the plugs that hold the hub plugs, let me see, I don't have a good picture of hub plugs on here. These plugs, these bolts right here, can be hollow with a lead cap on it. See that right, that bolt right there. Hub bolts. Hub bolts. And so the hub bolts will look like that. And so they're a little bit hollow. And you can shove lead wool in there, and then they put a plug here, which is usually like solder or something like that. And that lead wool is heavy, and that's how you balance it. So there's a Welch bolt.
That's just on the hub, right?
Yep. Now there's one out on the tip. Welch bolt. They're hollow. Hollow, used to balance with lead wool. I don't think you can buy lead wool. I was looking the other day for weights because we balance weights at work all the time, and we have a little balancer and they stick on weights. And I'm like, how come Amazon only has steel weights? And I looked and I looked and I looked. Do you know why Amazon only sells steel weights? Because it's like a $10,000 fine to put a lead weight on a car. Yeah, in the state of California. It's like for each occurrence. It's some crazy number. It's a number I did not want to pay. So it's illegal to do that. So. All right, you set the internal stops by unscrewing the cap off of the counterweight. And inside the counterweight, you're going to find these pitch stops in there. And so the pitch stops have numbers. You can see it's 0 through 5 here and 6 through 10 there. Those numbers have zero meaning other than their reference numbers. You can see a little thing that says base setting right there, and that's put in whenever overhaul the prop. Yep, 25 right there. So let's see, system components, hub assembly. Oh, I forgot about that. That one's fun. Okay. I don't want to forget to say that. I'll come back to that because this is just fun. Let me see. Is that right? What's the torque for installing this prop?
175 pound man, 31-inch bar.
180 pounds at the end of a 4-foot bar. The piston torque on this one. I love stuff like this. I think I forgot that one. Let me back up a bit. So where was my? It's not important. It was just kind of fun. Compers. No, it's got to be back here. Let's see. Ground adjustable. Tolerance. Ooh, tolerance. What's tolerance for ground adjustable props?
Blade angle?
Tolerance. Okay, we're going back up here to ground adjustable. Compers. Blade angle. Ground adjustable. There we go. Tolerance.
10 foot angle. And 116. Checking.
Tolerance. 0.1 degree difference in blades. So one blade from the other can only be 0.01. And 0.1 degree from target. Although I would just change my target if that's what it was. Like if you're going to hit 20 and you actually had 19.5, just say, well, now my target's 19.5. So this one doesn't make a lot of sense to me because you can just, it's an arbitrary. But, or manufacturer specs. I don't have my torque here. Shoot. Oh well.
Is that or manufacturer?
Or manufacturer specs. All right. Forgot. I was looking for a different torque. But torque on this one, the hub torque, it is literally, and I quote, applying a force of 180 pounds at the end of a 4-foot bar while applying the force, strike the bar close to the wrench with a hammer weighing about 2.5 pounds.
Wow.
Oddly specific.
Very.
The one for the steerman was funny
Calibrated man.
because it's a man. First of all, it has to be a man.
Man.
Yes, it specifies man. 170-pound man.
6 foot tall.
Yeah, so it's a very specific man.
Don't get the boss man.
Damn.
We're asking for the man who wrote that line in the manual.
He must have high cholesterol.
He's the
What's the part
standard.
number on that?
The part on that man, I don't know.
How's Kelly?
STDMALE, standard man.
Can he lift 250 or 175?
All right. All right, so we got the Welch bolts. Okay. Welch bolts. What are Welch bolts used for? Balancing. Okay, when you talk about balancing, there's both a dry balance and a wet balance. What do you suppose a dry balance is? That's when your 170-pound man has not been on the rain. No grease. Dry balance is with no grease. A wet balance is with grease. Let's try writing this so that everybody can read it. You better be careful with grease, especially on props. We'll talk about one prop a little bit later on where you do have to grease it, the Hartzell. And people a lot of times in these grease guns, you just grab a grease gun and just go for it. And they grease it until clean grease comes out of someplace. With props, often when the clean grease starts coming out, you've either overfilled it and it needs to be removed for overhaul, or clean and reseal. But when they open it up, the prop shop's going to say you have corrosion, so you need a new prop. Or they use the wrong, so you overfill it, or you blew the seals out, or use the wrong grease. All of which are going to require a very expensive repair. So when it comes to grease on props, what grease should you use? What grease to use? All right, you say manufacturer's recommendation. Where is that written?
Owner's manual? Prop manual?
Owner's manual, prop manual. Look at the sticker. It's written on the hub. All modern props, especially Hartzels, it is a sticker that says grease only with, and it tells you exactly what to put in there. Because often the manual will give you choices. And once you've greased something, you cannot mix greases. Some are compatible, some are not. It wasn't that long ago when I actually realized grease expires. And so somebody had given us a bunch of grease here, like from FedEx or something. I don't know. They dropped it off, and it's really good grease. It was like the Mobile SCH 100. It's really good. And that's, I think, what Cleveland uses for all their new wheels on their bearings. Well, if that's what the factory uses, Cleveland wheels. I mean, hey, I want the SCH 100. Yeah.
If the sticker says what kind of grease to use, it doesn't state how much to put in it. Like, how do you know how much to put in it?
Well, that's a whole. Then you got to know. So that's the manual. I can tell you that. But so look at the sticker. Because I'm going to ask you this on oral. I'm going to say, what kind of grease does this prop use? And you're going to just spend like 5 days reading through all the manuals and coming up to me with all these different greases. Until suddenly you look down at it and go, oh, it just says right there, Mobile 3 or something else. Yeah. Right? And it's important because if you put the wrong grease in a prop, somebody's going to pay a lot of money. And let me tell you, when it comes to constant speed props, the way this almost always works is you put the wrong grease in. So now you have to take it off and you can't fix it. So you have to send it to a prop shop for an open up, re-grease and seal. They open it up and they say, oh, guess what? You have corrosion. You need a new prop. So you put the wrong grease in, just cost the customer
$19,000.
$19,000. Did that include a spinner? Okay.
No, no, the spinner's not the 5 or 6.
Mine was off. 19,000 for.
He got for $19,000. He got a spinner.
I got some.
Yeah, but not everybody gets a spinner.
No, mine doesn't have a spinner.
So, did you buy a new prop recently?
No, I was thinking about switching to 2-blade, but I already have the spinner.
Yeah. So little mistakes, just the wrong grease, can cost. Now, hopefully, if you do that, you'll at least admit it, because some people won't, and then other problems set up. But, all right. So use caution with grease. All right. So this particular propeller does have grease certs on it, so that's where I was going with. And then I don't think I got. Let me see. So use caution with grease, because it does have grease fittings. So how you get it? This one doesn't use a sticker, and it doesn't. So where are you going to look for the grease on this old prop? I'd probably look in the logbook, the propeller logbook, and see, because there should be a record of what grease went in it, and use the same grease. Yeah.
Okay.
In theory, a prop shop overhauled the prop, wrote in the logbook what grease, and everybody followed the same grease. Yeah.
If the correct grease isn't in there, but they've been using it, do you use that grease that they've been using? Or
I knew someone was going to ask me that.
Yeah, that's
Don't
a
ask me
good
that
question.
question.
I was going there too.
Okay.
That's tough.
So, as mechanics not in a repair station, we don't always have access to the prop manuals. And manuals are really expensive. And there's really no reason for us to buy an overhaul manual for a prop, because we can't do it anyway. So that's why it's good to have a propeller repair station that you're good friends with and nice to, and you call them up and you say, hey, got this prop, they've been using this grease. And a lot of times they'll say, yeah, that's because that's what it's been superseded to, and that's the grease to use.
what would you do?
Huh?
What would you do?
That's what he's saying. Call
Exactly
the
that.
It's called that.
Call them up. Say, hey, this is the grease that's been in this. Is there any problem with that grease?
Okay.
And maybe they say, oh my gosh, no, you cannot. No, if you've been putting that grease in that, then you've got, then I'd have a problem. But otherwise, they just call them, ask them, is this an acceptable grease? If it came out of, if a prop shop did it, and I saw the prop shop did it, and went, then I wouldn't even probably question it, because they used their repair station. They're not putting the wrong grease in. Or there'd be an AD on it, because there's several ADs. When you do props, most of the ADs on props are, did this company ever work on it? If so, you got a problem. Did this company work on it? You got a problem. Did this company work? They just list the company. You just look, no, the company didn't do it. So that's how that usually goes. All right, let's see. Wet balance. Be careful with grease. I got that. Let's see. Don't overfill. Fill evenly. So we're going to make sure we fill it evenly. Look at the sticker. We'll talk more about grease later. Don't put 18 pumps on one side and 4 on the other. Let me see. Okay, adjustment. So for this 2-blade prop, high pitch, low pitch stops. So you pull off the, unscrew the counterweight cover. It's surprising this counterweights don't look that heavy. You pull off the cover, and inside you see these numbers, 0 through 5. They are marked in half-degree instruments, so that is degrees. That's 0, half, 1, half 2, half 3. But they're not necessarily 1 degree, all right? I'll show you how that works. So then you have the base setting. So this base setting is 25. Can you see 25 right there?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so got 0 through 5, 6 through 10, got 25. So how does this work? Let's just say I didn't want to do that. I want to do this. I want to go over here. And I want to go to pin. And we say, all right, aircraft calls for the blade angles to be 17 and 22. So we say we got to hit 17 and 22 degrees. and we've been called upon to do this. Or maybe we could change this, because that's something we could do. I've never had to do it, but if somebody said, yeah, I need to increase the pitch a little bit, and it was within the allowable. All right, so which one's low? Low is, okay, 17, and high is 22. Okay, so we keep this all straight. So what are we going to do? Well, we've got a base setting of 25, and we got 17. So 25, minus minus 17 equals 8. And 25 minus 22 equals 3. So we set one stop at 1, 2, 3, and the other one at 8, and there we go. So, not a big deal. 8, 3. Put it all together, then what do we do?
Check it.
Check it with a
Pressure angle finder.
angle finder, prop protractor. My notes here give me a tolerance plus or minus 0.3 degrees from low blade angle, low angle, plus minus 0.2 of each other, and plus or minus 0.1 for high blade angle.
And then you should take it all apart again and remove that safety wire.
You don't have to do the safety wire. You realize that, though, right?
Yeah.
This pin just falls out.
No, it's just for
Okay, so you go-
I know, right there. Yeah. All right, that's all my adjustable, controllable, not constant speed. Thank you. That's the word I wanted. I'm screwing with Matthew right now. Go ahead, I'm leaving it. You get it?
I'm so mad at you.
All right, I'm not even near the computer. Go ahead.
Alright.
The first time was an accident, but the second time was actually. Because I could see it go ahead. I'll even do this.
Not everybody else is gonna go out.
You gotta raise the leg.
Seriously, now I'm waiting on you. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about now the modern stuff, which you're going to see all the time, all the planes. The constant speed propeller. So when you talk about the constant speed propeller, sometimes I have to decide which comes first, the chicken or the egg. Prop or the governor. We're going to see what I decided here with the next slide. The prop. The governor. I went governor, okay.
Is that the chicken or the egg?
All right. So even though this is, I think, a Piper, I still have the picture in there. So we got the blue knob we're dealing with now, right? So before we didn't have knobs necessarily. Well, we had the Beach, which I've never seen, which is a little crank or a little switch, high pitch, low pitch.
Mm-hmm.
So you got the electric motor. Don't recall working on anything with the 2-position ham standard, but it would be something over, I think, on the firewall would be high pitch, low pitch. Or on the quadrant, high pitch, low pitch. But then you get into this, you're going to have the blue knob, which has a range to it. All the way forward is high RPM, which means low blade angle. In a single engine, you're going to go all the way back, which would be low RPM or high blade angle. If it's a twin, you keep going back even further. Oh, see, that's what a Cessna is going to look like. That's what a real airplane is. In a twin, you can go back into this area here, which would feather it. We should talk about feathering. So you have a controllable prop. We'll talk about that during its normal range for any normal aircraft. All the way forward is
Higher.
high RPM, low pitch. Pull it back to
Lower.
low RPM, high pitch. There's a gate. You can lift it over the gate and back. Goes into
Feather.
feather.
Highest.
So that'll go that way. Engine doesn't run in feather. And we'll talk all about feather. All right, how does it do it? Well, we've already studied basically all the stuff we need to know. So we have two choices with the prop. We either have one with counterweights,
Weights, yeah.
which indicates
It's
CTF to
changes, yeah.
Higher.
high blade angle, or no counterweights, CTF to low blade angle. All right, so why one versus the other? Well, in this particular one, this would be the one I have on my airplane. You have it on yours, and yours. All right. CTF goes to low blade angle. If I were to have a catastrophic failure of my engine and lose all of my engine oil, where would it go? No oil pressure, it's going to go flat. Okay, it takes oil pressure to go this way, CTF this way. Follow? That's fine in a single engine airplane, because when you have a catastrophic failure, you're doomed anyway. So if I have a twin engine aircraft and I lose an engine and that prop does this, it is like having a disc out there, right, that is dragging in the wind. It's going to cause me to yaw. I got a big surface, and it's going to keep driving the engine. And if maybe I lost a cylinder, I mean literally threw a cylinder, blew it out, and the engine is shaking, you could shake the engine right off the mounts. Now you could say, well, wait a minute, that could still happen on a single engine aircraft. It would, they just don't care about us. So they figure people who can afford a twin engine aircraft are more valuable to society. We need to protect them. Luke's like, yeah, that's right, because Luke flies twin engines. See, it's, the difference here. If you're on Gilligan's Island, would you rather have me or this guy, right? So,
Morally, I'm not answering.
what kind of? Look at the grade book there. Okay. Gotta have Gilligan. So anyway, so on a twin, same scenario, right? We're flying along. CTF goes to
Feather.
this. Oil pressure is holding it here. Catastrophic failure and I lose all oil pressure.
Feather.
Defaults. So it takes oil pressure to keep it flying. You lose oil pressure, it feathers out. So by default, it'll go to feather. So, but on a single, you don't have that. Well, it's extra weight to be extra stuff and money and all that stuff. So
How much extra weight would it add?
1,000 pounds. He's probably right, less than 5. The weight of the counterweights, and it depends on how complicated the system is, counterweights.
So the counterweight one is on the twin engine?
So you're always going to see counterweights, always, on a twin engine aircraft, with extremely rare exceptions, like the Aranca, that made a twin. All right, so to control the propeller, we're going to use a governor. This is just a governor, different types on here. All right. So a governor is a pretty simple little thing. It has these flyweights up here that are on a pivot point. And I like to talk about, they look kind of like this. You can see they're going up and down. Up and down with a little thing like that. It lifts stuff up. Okay, so like this. So I'll talk about it this way. So you have these counterweights that are steel, and they spin around inside that cup very, very fast. And there's a spring on top that balances it out. So when I'm moving that blue knob, I'm just controlling how much pressure is on that spring. Adding more pressure, letting more pressure out. So as these things spin around, the centrifugal force will make them do this. And when they go out, it lifts up a pilot valve and tells it, hey, I'm going too fast. You got to do something with the oil. This is on speed, where it blocks everything. No oil goes in or out. And under speed does that, because the spring pressure is putting too much tension. And so it's saying, hey, we're not spinning fast enough. So it drops the pilot valve down, says, you better do something about that oil. doesn't matter if it's a single engine or a twin engine, they do the same thing. It's what happens down below in the pilot valve, how it routes the oil, whether it's a single engine or a twin, right? Because if I single engine, if I'm overspeeding, blade's too flat. We need to add pitch. And how do we add pitch to a single engine? CTF or oil? Oil. So it's going to take oil, pump it through a high pressure pump, shove it into the prop. It's going to go forward through transfer rings in the crankshaft, through the middle of the crankshaft, out through the crankshaft, through this valve, fill this up right here, and push the piston, which moves these, this one, through here. Push the piston, move the piston moves, hits that little thing here. I'll show you these better when we talk about props, and rotate the prop. Okay, so what do you need to know right now? Single engine, CTF, that's my fixed force, oil pressure, well, it doesn't feather on a single, but high blade angle. Okay? So if I go to overspeed, I need to add oil. If I go into underspeed, it's going too slow. It's going to drain it back a little bit. So it's constantly doing that as I'm flying. I don't think the flyweights are like, if I'm in a cruise flight, the autopilot on, I don't imagine them sitting there locked in. I kind of imagine doing this constantly. But in theory, if I'm flying along and I'm not changing anything, the autopilot's on, the prop's not moving, nothing's moving, everything's stable, then they should be in on speed, which means that it blocks oil. No oil can get in or out of the piston up here. So it hydraulically locks this up here so the blades can't move. CTF is trying to go back towards low pitch, but it's hydraulically locked in there. I don't know if it really works that way. Well, it can't because there's oil slippage in the transfer collars and stuff, so it wouldn't work that way. Did you follow so far? Okay. All right, so let's look at this one. Now, the first thing is, I don't know if this is for a twin or a single because I just explained a single engine, right? Well, what if it was a twin engine? Okay, now it's just the opposite. So, twin engine goes into overspeed. Overspeed means we have to add some pitch. Well, in the single engine, what do we do to add pitch? Add oil. But now, we got to drain oil because the counterweights are going to do it. So you drain oil. So in a single, this is adding oil. In a twin, this is draining oil. And this one, it's adding oil. And this one is preventing oil. This one is hydraulic lock, and this one is hydraulic lock. Okay, so they work the same either which way. So where do we get the oil from? It's engine oil in the engine in the system. You remember the Lycoming you built? Well, they just like the Lycoming uses longer bearings, and it shoots it right at the middle of the propeller. I think I got a picture. There we go. Oh, look at me. All right, this is a big Continental. Right there's a transfer collar. Right there. There it is right down there. So it just fits right in there, and oil pressure comes up through this galley right there, enters this thing right here, which is right there, enters to this, pressurizes this right here. There's no O-rings, there's no nothing. Just clamps on there like a bearing. So you've got 1 or 2 thousandths, you got some seepage, and high pressure oil from the governor is going to pump it right through there. Well, guess what's underneath this little cap? One hole. One hole. That hole goes to the middle of the crankshaft. So it's blocked back here. There's an opening right there, and so it puts high oil pressure and just fills the cavity right there with high oil pressure. So that's how it transfers in. You see, do I have a light coming? There we go. There, light coming. Light coming just uses a much longer bearing, and it brings it in, I don't know, right about this spot, I think, into this big hole. And so that's just, the bearing is kind of hollowed out right in this little spot all the way around with a line there and a line there, so it makes it, the high pressure stays within there. But still, you still got 2 or 3 thousandths worth of clearance right there, so you can have slippage back and forth. So, all right, I know you guys are ready to go.